Hi, good morning, everyone. Hello, Ipsos family. It's really nice to see all of you, or you can see me at least. Thank you for making time. I know we're still waiting for people to join, but it's 11 o'clock, so let's be prompt. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Yang Amat Mulia Tengku Zatashah. And what we thought HR and Marcoms have collaborated to do this is because Ipsos has been in MCO for over a month now, and all of you have been working really hard and still powering through in terms of doing fantastic work for Ipsos. We thought this might lift all our spirits on a Friday so that we can continue 1.5 weeks more of MCO. So hopefully by 29th, everything will be okay. And Yang Amat Mulia Tengku Zatashah has kindly said yes to share about her experiences during the MCO and how she keeps herself motivated, healthy, and what are the tips that she could share. We also have a panelist of Ipsos family. So we have Anshuman, we have Noraisha, we have Lelaine, we have Penny with us. All of them will have different experiences during the MCO, and it'd be great to hear from them as well. So I will not take too much time. I would like to say hello to Tengku and welcome.
Hello, thank you so much. Hi, good morning.
Yes, and Tengku, if you could just kindly share with us, MCO is hard. It's been hard on everybody, of course, and the whole world is going through it. We're not going through anything different. So, but it'd be great to hear from your perspective how you've gone through it, and what are the things that you feel that have changed in your life, and how do you keep motivated, and so on and so forth. Over to you, Tengku.
Thank you. First of all, good morning, everybody. It's lovely to see everyone here, and thank you for having me. I mean, it's great to be able to connect, through the Zoom meeting like this. Like MCO and COVID-19 is really unprecedented times. I mean, it's very challenging for everybody involved because, there's this fear and this uncertainty and, safety and health and all these issues are being raised. But this is the time I also see there's a silver lining to it. I've always looked at life as a glass half full rather than a glass half empty. And for me, so one of the things, there's been a lot of things I've been doing, keeping myself busy at home. And my advice is to everybody is to take a day at a time. I've always been like that when it comes to like a high stress calendar. I mean, Tasha knows my calendar, very busy. And when it's like that, I always look at it day to day. And this is the me time. So for me, it's the time that I've been able to focus on myself, to really bring it down to chill and do new things, learn new things, and, spread positivity through my posts. And help and connect with each other through technology. So some of the things like I've been doing, for instance, I think the key thing is I've been learning to do a lot more meditation. I used to do meditation before, and since MCO, I was like, okay, I'm going to look online, and on the Les Mills On Demand app, there is free guided meditations. So whether I do it in the morning or whether I do it in the evening, I spend at least 15 minutes. I switch off my phone because there's nothing worse than your meditation and having your phone buzz and vibrate constantly. So I switch everything off. Just leave on the guided meditation, and I do that, and I focus on the breath. And it really helps to bring that kind of clarity, that, you know, peace and calm, where your mind will always wander. And I realize that my mind is always wandering on like planning what I'm going to do for the day, what I haven't done, what I'm going to do. My mind wanders to memories, to thoughts. I mean, different sort of things pop up into your head. And the one thing that I learned about guided meditation, and when that happens, you just note it, it's a thought, and then you bring it back to the breath. So there's a focus on the breath and breathing in and out. And I remember one meditation retreat that I did a few years back, and the person said, but I don't have time for meditation. And the teacher was like, but do you have time to breathe? Because that's what it is. You know, so it was a very interesting point. Like, do you have time to breathe? And 15 minutes is so short, really, but it's something that I make sure that I do every day. And I have my essential oils, so I feel like I'm in a spa. I feel very serene, even though I'm just staring at my computer, and I close my eyes. So that's one of the things that I do. I do a lot of reading as well. And you know, I'm always a bookworm, and I think Tasha knows this, that I read a lot. So with the reading, I've been doing this reading challenge. So it's 2020 reading challenge. Is I had set originally for 45 books by target, then it became 50 books, and since MCO is now 70 books. And this year is also, maybe some of you don't know, but this year is a KL Baca 2020. We are nominated by UNESCO to be the World Book Capital for Kuala Lumpur. And I'm like, what better way than we're all stuck at home during MCO is to, you know, let's talk about this movement. Let's tag each other. Let's promote and love and share the love of reading. So since MCO, day 31 today, right? I have counted. I have read 2,880 pages. I actually count my days and I count my pages. And I've read nearly 3,000 pages in the space of MCO. So, and a lot of people ask me, like, how do you find the time to do the reading? I mean, do you read really fast? And it's not that. It's just basically I set the time, like you do for meditation. I set the time and say, okay, I like to read before I sleep because it calms me down. I read in the morning, you know, I read during the day. So it's not, you know, I don't spend my life just watching Netflix. And Netflix is good, trust me. I've been doing a lot of Netflix. I've been learning a lot of the documentary series, the docu-series. So I've been learning a lot as well from Netflix. And then I watch my feel-good movies. So, you know, like on Netflix, I was watching a lot about history. So they had I mean, Tasha and I went to Hampton Court one time, and we're all history geeks. So I'm watching all about that, the secrets behind, like Tower of London and, you know, Chatsworth House. I mean, it's a lot of things that I'm learning, like as a historical geek like myself.
Tengku, just on that, I mean, we are curious people by nature, we're researchers, right? So I just need to ask, in terms of your behavior, do you find that there's been any changes in terms of your character, in terms of how you view things in life since MCO started? And do you think that will continue after MCO? I mean, how do you feel?
I've always been a homebody, so I'm content at home. I don't feel like I'm restricted in the sense that, you know, my husband, Aubrey, he's very much into outdoors. So he loves to run and cycle and be outside, and being stuck at home. You know, some people have the opportunity of having a garden or a pool, but we don't have that. So, you know, being stuck at home, it's really about changing your mindset. But for me, I've always been quite content, you know, so but I'm learning a lot of new stuff. That's what I realized with the MCO. So like my workouts, I still do a lot of workouts, but I'm learning new stuff. So I'm learning like Les Mills bar. I'm doing more body combat, which is like mixed martial arts. I'm doing a lot of HIIT, like body attack. So I'm even going to try like a yoga flow. I'm terrible at yoga, really bad. But anyway, I'm going to try all these things. And the more that I do it, the more that I feel like there's some sort of improvement. So I feel stronger and fitter. And I feel like every time I'm able to achieve something that I wasn't able to do before, it's like a win for me. Okay. So that's the kind of things that I realized I've been doing a lot with MCO, is that I still want to challenge myself. That's always been my personality, is always to challenge. But, you know, when you're not outside or you're not doing events or functions and things like that, then then it's how I can self-improve. And, you know, we even like Alliance Française, we're offering online classes.
Yes.
So everyone who wants to learn, Ipsos is French based. So anyone wants to learn the French can do that. Like Nicole David, I was talking to her the other day on the IGTV live. She's learning Spanish. So I speak Spanish as well. So I said, okay, when you come back, we're going to speak in Spanish. So yeah.
That's wonderful. And I think what I can see, there's a lot of positivity that's happening in your life with regards to MCO, which is good. In terms of, you know, me feeling that you're not interacting with your friends, with your family, how do you try to overcome that? I mean, I'm sure you miss having people around. I definitely do.
Yes, definitely. And thanks to Zoom, we're able to, you know, sit down and have a laugh and spend that hour just to chat and with my friends, or, you know, even though whether it's my gym gang or whether it's my makan gang, we'll sit there, we'll chat, and we'll set a time, okay, let's do a Zoom meeting. And it's always a laugh, and it always brings up the mood, you know, to interact with people, not just through a WhatsApp text. You know, it helps to have something like this that we can interact, and you just got to take it a day at a time, and, you know, try to be as positive as you can, and you know, share what you're doing, share your positivity. So that would be my advice.
Thank you. Before I continue, if you have any questions for Tengku Zatashah of any of our panelists after this, please do actually put it in the Q&A box, and we will pick it up before we end. Tengku, I'm going to go to our panelists now. We'll come back to you. Thank you. We'll start with Anshuman. Hi, Anshuman. How are you?
Very well, Tasha. How are things with you?
Good. You look the same, so that's good.
Except a bit of a beard now. Yeah. So
Okay.
this gives me the excuse to change my looks for a change.
Anshuman, I would just like to extract your experience of the MCO because you're an expat in Malaysia. How do you find the experience of MCO different to what your countrymen is going through in your country? You know, how do you feel being with your, thankfully you have your family here, right? Your daughter and your wife. How do you feel as an expatriate?
I think out here, government is definitely doing a great job. I mean, in terms of number of cases, those are very much in control now. Over the last few days, we have been, you know, receiving very positive news. That's fantastic. So I'm hopeful. So if you talk about India, Tasha, so as I'm right now not in India, I shall talk mainly from what I hear in the news and from my parents and family. So news can be a bit manipulative in India. You know how media is in India. But yes, when it comes to India, everything is about scale. It's a 1.3 billion population. Malaysia is nowhere close to that. So the social and the economic impact are more intense there. So I have my parents there, I have my cousins there. They haven't seen this kind of a situation ever. The last pandemic that happened in India, it happened way back in 1918, 1918. So it's like, you know, so for generation, we haven't experienced this kind of an intense situation in India. I mean, swine flu, etc., those things were experienced by Southeast Asia. India did not, you know, face that kind of a vulnerability in the past. And also the fact that the socio-economic structure in India is very complex. There are many Indias, I say, within India. So it's very diverse, socio-economically, culturally, etc. And there's a huge migrant and daily wage earner segment which is there in India. And these people are very hugely impacted, more than people like us. And it may lead to some kind of a very tough choice that the government needs to take there. In fact, I was reading the government currently is in a dilemma. So they have to make a choice, which is about, they have to decide between saving 100 lives from coronavirus by complete lockdown, or saving 200 lives who are suffering from employment and hunger by lifting lockdown. That's the kind of tough choice they need to make, which is very acute than what you compare with Malaysia. I think Malaysia hasn't gone into that stage, and hopefully it won't. That's what we pray. But at the same time, we see a lot of positivism there in India. A lot of A-list celebrities from cricket, from Bollywood, they're coming forward, encouraging people to stay at home. There's some fantastic Instagram videos they're coming up with, montage of Amitabh Bachchan to Virat Kohli. Everybody's coming up and talking about through a lot of humor-based videos. They're talking about why is it important to stay at home.
Well, we have one influencer here that has read 3,000 pages, so I'm at page 400, so I need to catch up.
So that's there. So they're urging people to stay at home. So basically, it's all in all the sheer population in India to manage. That makes it very different from what is there in Malaysia. That's what I'll say.
Okay, and as a father and as a leader in Ipsos, you have a team of 12, I believe. How do you keep yourself motivated? What are the pros and cons of working from home actually since MCO started?
This is a tough one. Because I think at some point, I'm sure we all are losing it, getting frustrated, feeling vulnerable. It's about how much we show up, or how much we can actually control that in a more social context. It's not easy, and that's natural because we all are human. But I think we all need to take it easy. We also need to absorb humor because humor is healing. So for example, a good friend called me up the other day and he was checking with me, how am I doing? And he's in Middle East right now. So I was like, there is army and police which has been deployed outside my condo, and there's wife inside the condo. Huh? So army outside, wife inside. Where do I hide? Where do I go? So those kind of situation. So, and my wife overheard me talking about that. So I got a piece of her mind after that. But yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is we need to remain positive in spite of the situation. And in fact, there's one person who is joining my team very soon from another market, and he was very worried. And I told him very clearly, we all need to accept things how they are instead of being fearful and panicking, because nothing grows from the point of fear and depression. And we all need to accept that. So I've realized that there are positive things also come out of lockdown. So we can connect more with self, as Tengku Zatashah did mention just a while back. We connect more with family. I'm doing things which I haven't done for ages, and Tasha, some of those things. I mean, I've restarted, writing poetry, which I used to do during my college days, and that's the way I, managed to impress my wife. But I'm doing that again after a decade or so. So somehow I didn't get the time to do that, but I'm, again starting off to do those things. I'm doing a lot of weekend reading. Weekdays are very busy. Obviously, there are a lot of calls, meetings, etc. But weekends, I'm doing a lot of reading. I'm trying to spend a lot of time in cooking something new, and that's the way I'm also trying to bond with my daughter, because we do baking activities together. So I've restarted some of these things again. I'm moving to those spaces, which helps me to just calm down and accept things the way they are. Coming to my team, it's also about constantly reminding them that we need to stick together as a team. And this is the time where we all need to sail through together. Together is the key essence here. It's more important for leaders to mention during this time that we have got their backs. And we need to put the best effort every day as a team. Every day means every damn day. Every day we need to communicate, connect with them. So that's what I do. I do video calls with them. I connect with them on alternate days for team meetings. We do virtual celebrations when we win a project, when we achieve a milestone. In fact, we are currently doing a music video together this weekend. So we'll create a kind of a montage of music video. That's all we are trying to do. So it's all about staying connected, valuing each other more, than ever before. That's the way I'm trying to do my bit. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And I think Li Feng, our head of HR, and Arun is on this call. So if you want Ipsos Got Talent, I think after MCO, we will connect with you definitely. Thank you so much, Anshuman. I'm going to go to Nuraisha now. Hi, Nuraisha. Nuraisha has not had her video up because she's got kids and her kids might be jumping in front of the camera. So we totally understand, but we're glad that you can join us, Nuraisha.
No worries, no worries.
Hi, okay.
Glad to be here too.
A working mother, kids staying at home, not going to school, it must be, challenging for you. We just want to know in terms of your perspective, how has it been since MCO started?
Hi, thank you, Tasha. Thank you. So basically, life for me during MCO is, I would say, it's very well spent because I got a daughter, two daughters actually. One is 7 years old, another one is 11 months old. So they are very in the peak of, you know, demanding for attention. And then basically the first week of MCO, working from home is a bit tough for me and my husband because it's a new norm. And it was the, I think the toughest part is to juggle in between work and their needs, you know. They got a few needs like, you know, nap time, snack time, play time, sleep time, I don't know, fight time, you know, all the times. So at the same time, we have to focus on work. So at the very beginning, it was tough, but over time, I guess we are getting much better now.
Mm.
Um, Basically, what we did during this MCO is we try to focus as much as we can during daytime to work, and of course, we are taking like a lot of 5 minute break to attend to their needs. But off work, we try to be focusing on the kids as much as we can. What I find a bright side on this MCO is we has reduced the travel time, right, from
Mm.
office to home. So basically, we already have an extra hours to spend more time with the kids, and they would be more than happy to, like, you know, disturbing us during work once in a while. And then what we try to do is we just have to make sure their needs is there, especially food. You know, kids, they got nothing to do at home, so except for like disturbing you with your work, just feed them food. You know, just make sure food is available, easy access for them, and then yeah, I think that is the one of the challenge during MCO is during working from home actually is to attend to their need at the same time to focus on our work. So what I would say, the the key point I think I've learned a lot is to communicate with the partner, my husband. It has to be both sides.
Mm.
Um, like I won't be able to do this if I do not have enough support from my husband, and so do he. You know, like now we've been locked the kids in the room
Yes.
so that I can focus on this. As if they'll be like running everywhere, asking questions, wanted to know what is this, what is that, why is people on the computer, why is why is these people talking on the other side of the world? You know, like, you know, there's so many wise questions. So I think uh, the best part of this is like we like what you guys been saying. We spend more time with the kids, and I would say the uh, the the best part of it is we value family more. You know, we might miss this one out through the years, right? But this short of time, we somewhat find it more. It's actually a lot of things to be done at home, actually, especially when you can't go out. You have to create an activity so that everyone stays sane, especially the kids, right? So we can't do much on weekdays because we'll be working, but we try to spend more time together during weekend, as in, like, you know, we clean up the house, sanitize the house, you know, things that make kids occupied, just to pay back time where we've been working and have to let them play by themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And because the kids are at home, they're homeschooling at the moment, even
Yeah.
though the government is doing a lot in terms of to keep them occupied. How do you balance that? Because now you have an additional role as a teacher.
Yeah, teaching is harder than working. So basically, we know that we cannot pay. We know that we cannot focus on them
Mm.
when during the weekdays, right? So, I mean, at daytime. So normally we are homeschooling on nighttime, so that we can focus more on their works, on their learning progress,
Mm.
because we know we cannot you cannot split yourself, right? You know, no matter how hard you try, you just can't focus two things at the same time.
Yes.
And we are focusing homeschooling on nighttime so that we can take it as a payback time as well. So because we've been like, you know, keeping them away during daytime, so we take homeschooling as another way of spending time together, do homeworks together, do, you know, crossworks together. um, Balance, I don't really find a challenge in balancing because we are doing it nighttime
Mm-hmm.
where we can fully focus on their learning, and
Mm.
then we're focusing on work daytime. Yeah, I do not have much challenge on homeschooling actually.
Oh, that's
Because they do
wonderful.
not have a specific time for
Mm.
them to study, right? So yeah, in a way it's flexible for us.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Narasha.
No worries, thank
I'm
you.
just gonna bring that question across to another mother we have, Lelaine. Hi, Lelaine. How are you?
Hello,
Yes.
hi everyone. Yeah, yes. So thank you for sharing that, Isa. I think I can relate to most of the things that she shared. My kids, it's not that young anymore, so they're a little bit more independent, which gives a bit of different challenges altogether. So I think this. MCO, working from home situation. It's not something new working from home, but in terms of the situation that we are in, a lot of things that we are considering as a parents in terms of the economic situation, safety. We cannot go out, and again, we are restricted in the four walls of our home, right? So juggling between work. My kids are doing online classes as well. It becomes challenging. So, but I think this whole work from home situation made me realize it's a fortunate event as well. We always have to look at the positive side of things because I get to see my husband in action at work, right? Sometimes when our partners, our spouses get to explain to us, I'm stressed at work, then we will say, hey, it's so easy, those kind of things. But now you get to understand because you get to see them in meetings. Sometimes they get to lose out their temper or they are posed in a very difficult situation. You get to understand more. You get to see a different side of your spouse. So for those who have been married for quite a while as well, we always spend a little time with our partners, right? It's always when we reach home, we are tired, we go back to sleep. We don't even sometimes I'm in human resources. When I talk to employees, they will say, oh, I don't even know what my husband does or what my wife does because we're too busy, right? So this situation, I take it an opportunity to understand my husband more in terms of, and in his side as well, for him to understand more in terms of my job, because and my kids, for me to really understand, like to Aisha's point, right, have to do be a teacher, right? So my it's a the subjects becomes tougher, right? They always, why you don't know this, you've been this in this situation. So you get to balance it more. You try to inject quality time with them. I think that's one of the key learnings I have here. And in human resources, in HR, a lot of times I get to be very concerned in terms of are you doing what the company asks you to do in terms of performance? But in this situation, you get to go beyond that, right? So do you have enough food? Are you in a safe zone in a that kind of situation gives you a lot of opportunity to learn. I think we're very fortunate. We are experiencing this type of pandemic in a way, because I was sharing with my group of friends. I can't wait for me to tell this to my to the younger ones when I grow older, right? That hey, during the pandemic, this is how it is. You cannot simply go out. Those kind of things. Not everybody will have that experience. So I think that's one of the change in my behavior during this period, is really being what you call this, emotionally and physically as well as mentally strong, because you get to know that people rely on you. we are really a social animal. We cannot survive without interacting with others, right? Imagine this happened 15 years ago, no internet, no social media. I think everybody will go bonkers. So, but we are very fortunate. So I would say a lot of positivity have come in and a different kind of thinking in this situation, yeah, for both my family as well as work-wise, yeah.
That's fantastic. And I like how you focus, Lillian, on the behavior of, it's natural for us to forget the people who are closest to us sometimes because we're so busy, right? And I think
Yes,
this is the time that you actually keep in mind that, oh, you need to spend time with, you need to call people that means to you because it's a worrying time, of course, and it's a challenging time. So you do reach out to people that you really feel, that you need to reach out to. You're in Putrajaya, Lillian. You're living in Putrajaya.
Cyberjaya.
Cyberjaya, and it's an
Yes.
enhanced MCO area. Has that been
Yes.
for you?
I'm fortunate since our MCO, I've not stepped out of the house. So I don't know if that's good or bad. There are a few occasions I'm tempted. It's my husband who does running to the groceries and all. But the community that I'm in, they're quite close knit. So majority of our neighbors are locals. So they give us updates in terms of what are the things to take note of, communication, which are the areas that has been identified, somebody is positive and all. So far, it's been good. A lot of students are the usual violators of MCO. So we try to avoid the areas that is near the university because we can't really stop them from really getting together and all because they don't have any social support over here. So, but so far it's been good. Apart from being classified as a red zone, so to speak, because we are very close to Denkil as well. Not much of a police patrolling and all. So far it's been all under control. Yeah.
Fantastic. And not a student, but a single person. Thank you, Lillian. A single lady. But we always think that the single people don't have a lot to think about during MCO, and actually most of the time that's not true. We have our colleague Penny here. Hi, Penny. How are you?
Good.
Penny, from your angle as a single person, but you do have responsibilities. You've got your parents that rely on you, right? So how has it been, the work from home and MCO for you?
Yep. I mean, like out of here, I think I'm the only single lady still staying with my parents, I guess. So I think for me, one of the most challenging part that I'm facing right now is because I don't have a workstation at my room. So I sort of made my living room as where I work right now. So well, with this current setup, of course, there are definitely some distractions around the house, which has made it quite challenging to focus 100% during the work hours. So for examples, at times my parent will ask, can I have a hand, to help out, like passing the painting tools, because my dad is painting around the house right now. So also helping them preparing lunch or dinner. Or one of the things that is my personal favorite so far is I be their private translator. So what is this mean is that my parents is not well versed in Malay. So when there is live broadcast about the COVID-19, so I will need to step in and then help them to understand more what actually is the updates from the government kind of stuff. So it is quite fun actually, to be their private translator. But in another way, I think I'm actually very glad that my parents actually has been very understanding towards my current working arrangements, during these trying times like this. So they are very supportive and they'll try to compromise and adjust their lifestyle to just ensure that I'm not disturbed when I'm working. So this is especially true like when I have online meetings and they will try to whispering, even though I have mute my mic, but they will still try to whisper because they just get like, they will disturb me. So yeah, I think although there is some challenges, but I'm very thanks my parents to, that they are very understanding, they are very supportive. So it really made my working from home very smooth and peace actually. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I guess because there's a lot of single people in Ipsos, and I think a lot of them are
Yes.
going through what you're going through as well. Some are living with their, some are living with friends, some living with family. But I think what you're doing with your family is fantastic. And translation is something that is always useful for me to have. In terms of, do you feel isolated at the moment? Do you feel that, how do you connect with your friends? And because your parents are quite older, how do you connect with the people your own age now?
Well, honestly, in regards to the isolations, it has been very challenging to me personally, because I'm a people person that I'm working from home actually disallows that. So I enjoy, having conversation with people as in like in person and not through calls. In my opinion, it is a lot easier when we communicate and convey like what I mean. It especially helps when I can see the people like in real. Because I think when I meet a person in real, I can really like, take note about the body language, etc. So I personally do not enjoy online meetings actually, because I think we often face a lot of frustrating challenges. Like, example, like, sometimes internet connections are unstable and then you got calls that is dropped, maybe like poor audio that we can't hear clearly from the other side. So, but in another way, I think the digital platforms actually do help to make me feel less lonely in a way, because I have an active team in Ipsos and we are very close to each other, and I still feel glad that we still keep in touch and then have like weekly meetings and talk to everyone, like check out updates through the online. So it does really help me to feel less isolated and not as lonely. And from my friend's side, yeah, it's the same. So although I don't like to have calls, but my friends was just like, pushing me like, hey, just have a call. We have long time no meet, yeah. So yeah, it is kind of a different way to stay communicate. Yeah.
I like what you said. Sometimes I get lazy as well because you don't have to change your clothes. You don't have to make an effort. So when somebody
Yes.
say, hey, let's get on a call, you'll be like, oh, do I have to?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but thank you so much, Manny, for that sharing. And thank you to the panelists. Tengku, Zatashah, I mean, you've heard some of the experiences in Ipsos, and I mean, we've got 2 more weeks to go of this. And I don't think this would be the end of the pandemic, unfortunately, because we still have to be careful what comes into the future. And how do you see your life after MCO? And how do you? First of all, what's the first thing that you'd like to do after MCO, once the doors are open? And the second thing is, how do you think life is going to change, or how people behaviors are going to change?
Well, firstly, thank you to everybody for sharing what you do with your families and things. And actually, at the beginning of MCO, one of the suggestions I was giving, this is the time, I mean, when I was a kid growing up, it's quite an isolated sort of childhood. So board games, I used to love them, Monopoly and Scrabble. This is the time where you have that family evening time and you whip out your board game and you get competitive and, you do things like that. And I used to love doing jigsaw puzzles. So I had given my niece who lives in London, my sister lives in London, and I had sent her for her birthday like a 1,000 piece jigsaw puzzle, which they never attempted to open. for like years, and now they took it out and finished it. And my sister was like, please do not ever send that again. And I'm like, hey, but that took you time to do your jigsaw puzzle, you know? So there was sort of, you know, I don't know, it's sort of like going back into time, being a little bit retro and, you know, reading. I think also for parents to, it's a hard time to do homeschooling for sure, but for parents to also encourage to your kids that reading is not just homework. I think this is the kind of thing that we're so used to having iPads and technology that's the fun part. And then reading a book is actually a chore. So we need to also change that mindset that reading should be fun. It shouldn't be like, oh, you have to read 20 pages today, and that's like a homework. It should be, I want to pick up a book and read because it is fun, because it is something that I enjoy doing. So I think those are the kind of things that we need to also change in our mindset for MCO that I think is helpful for kids. And also online, I mean, I share quite a lot on my Facebook. For kids, there's this great author, David Walliams, and he's doing book readings from his stories. And now there's even Tom Hardy. I know that you liked it straight away, Tasha. Tom Hardy's doing like bedtime stories. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that people are providing. I know this today, there's going to be Phantom of the Opera online for free. And I love Phantom of the Opera. I actually met Phantom when he was in KL. I got to hold the mask and they even gave me a tour behind stage for Phantom of the Opera. So, I mean, there's loads of stuff and musicals. So, you know, just, you know, using different tools that we have, but also maybe being retro by doing those family board games, I think is a lot of fun, or learning backgammon or teaching them chess if they're old enough to understand, you know. There's all those things that we used to do that we never did because iPad came along, technology came along, or YouTube came along, and then it's like, oh, just pass it to my kids and then they'll just entertain themselves. So I think that's the kind of time that you really connect, like you said, to the stories that I've been listening to, connecting with your families. The first thing that I'll do after MCO, it's already in my mind. I am going to run in the park. I am so looking forward to seeing the trees and grass and nature and the sky, and I'm going to run and run and run in the park. That's the first thing that I'm going to do.
I can see you being like Forrest Gump, just running
it's
everywhere.
like freedom. You have no idea. I think my husband will join me as well. He's going to go cycling and running. But I've even planned with my friends virtual buka, okay? So it's like, it's come to the point where like, okay, you know, when it's Ramadan, I said, we always do our buka together, or buka puasa. So let's all prepare our meals. Let's get all our food and put them in tiffins, and let's do a virtual buka session and, you know, pretend that we're with each other through this time. So we're doing like crazy stuff like that.
I think it's great that even though you're planning to run, and I do agree, I am actually just going to go a bit wild with outdoors after this, but you're also being cautious in terms of how you're going to engage in the future. So I think that is very important because, as you know, this, even though, you know, Ramadan is coming, Hari Raya is coming, it's fantastic, but it's not going to be like it was before. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just that we just need to be, you know, the new norm.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, I've even sort of, you know, I've frozen my gym membership. I have no intention to go back into the gym straight away. And, you know, I don't see us resuming life as normal. So social distancing will definitely be something that we're going to have to practice for months. It's just because MCO is lifted doesn't mean that, you know, we'll all go and crowd it into places, but I want to support local businesses. And at the same time, I've been keeping myself busy by trying to do behind the scenes a lot of work for Kechara Soup Kitchen and Yayasan Food Bank Malaysia. So we've been sending a lot of food supplies to those in need, to the urban poor, to the homeless in the temporary shelters. And because I'm not on the ground, and normally, as you know, I'm always on the ground and I'm always, you know, handing out and doing the food distribution. And because I'm not doing that, my side is to get as many fundraising, to bring as much awareness. So a lot of corporates have come forward as well to help out, to raise funds for Kechara Soup Kitchen, etc. And also we are with Yayasan Raja Muda Selangor and Selangor Youth, we're getting the PPE gowns out. So we're working to distribute the PPE gowns in Hospital Shah Alam, and now other hospitals have also contacted us. So we're trying to sew, we're getting the ladies to come and sew and do that. So that's the kind of things that, for MCO is to be able to do a lot of different things behind the scenes as well, just because we're not able to get out there. I have seen so many great initiatives, people working on doing the PPE gowns. I also I did a donation to BGBG initiative. They're making the masks for the frontliners. So they're trying to get the materials. So donation on that front as well. So, it's what I have seen from MCO is this huge community collective effort. And it's really about, I know we're all in the corporate world, but it's also about humanity right now. It's really about how we're all showing our human side, whether it's connecting with each other, whether it is doing efforts or fundraising or donations, because, even the tourism industry is very hard hit right now. And I've had 2 hotels who are sponsoring meals for Kachara Soup Kitchen to give to the poor, to the urban poor. And I can imagine for them how hard it must be. They're not having any guests stay in the hotel. Nobody's coming to the restaurants. It's going to be very hard, but yet they still giving back to the community. So I feel very it's very heartwarming to know that these things, these initiatives are happening. Malaysia is really kita jaga kita, right? So it's really nice to see that.
Well, thank you so much, Tengku, and thank you to all the panelists. I think that is a very good summary of today's session. And we hope that you stay safe and keep well. And I think on behalf of the Ipsos family, on behalf of Arun, Lifong, and everyone, we would like to say thank you so much. You certainly lifted my Friday morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Was there any Q&A? I don't know if we managed to get any.
We don't have any Q&A, but I'm not surprised. They're just motivated to hear you speak. And I think there were a few good points by our panelists as well in terms of we're in all this together, and whatever we're experiencing is not unique. It's just that we're all in different situations in life, so it's a little bit of a different angle. But I just want to reiterate that Ipsos, we're holding together, and you should be proud. It's a French company, right? We're holding together, we're pulling together, and hopefully when things are done, we hope to see you at another Ipsos event.
And everybody learn French at Alliance Française.
Yes, okay. We should be speaking French at some point.
By the end of MCO, you'll all be fluent.
We can all go to Ipsos Paris. Thank you.
With Arun. Arun can be our lead. No pressure.
No pressure. Thank you so much, Tengku. Thank you.
Thank you so much to everybody.
Take care, stay safe, and
yes, stay safe, stay positive, and stay strong.
Yes, thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye.